Are you listening? Damn.
Welcome to another edition of AFC North. Ace is on his way. Here with Q, Tony, myself, Sonny. By the way, guys, it has been a shot. I have been hit by a bunch of people. It was fun. It took a little bit of left turn, but space.
You know about the Twitter space. You know about the Twitter space we did the other day.
What do you mean? Everything was perfectly reasonable and agreeable, and we all came together and hugged. And, no controversial things. We all came to a consensus opinion about Logan Wilson, right?
About he who shall not be named. Yeah, we actually
Logan Voldemort.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you haven't, it's on Twitter. We left
it's recorded on there.
It was recorded, so you can
go
back.
Ace to get home so people don't start rumors. Oh, Ace left because
exactly.
No, Ace is on his way. He was just gonna be a little late today. Anyway, today's the Corner Show. We are getting closer also to season starting, which is amazing.
Let's go.
Two things. More than one. Actually, one. Make sure if you haven't enrolled or enter the fantasy football Survivor League that the AFC North will have. Last year, Manscaped sponsor. We will talk about the sponsor soon once the season starts. But we'll have a gift. It's free. Nobody needs to buy anything to sign in or anything. Easy. Once a week, pick the game. You think you have the skills to at least get one game right. Well, the thing is, you cannot repeat teams, so there's some strategy to it. Should be fun. We all gonna be playing here. See if you can beat us. Last year, a couple people beat us. I know Q loves that Bengals Jets game. I think Tony too, right, Tony? That when you win?
Hey, Tony.
Every time. Are we going to do this every time? Wait,
Tony, I know how to put this to an end. I know how to put this to an end. Hey, Sonny, what would our odds been if we would have bet on the Ravens to win a division game last year?
You would have got eliminated. No. We won
one. What are the odds?
About 1 in 5?
Yes. Very low. Very, very low.
1 in 6, actually. 1 in 6.
1 in 6. 1 in 6.
Yeah.
1 out of 6 opportunities. Yeah. Crazy.
Anyway, I don't even remember who in what game that I got eliminated.
In what game? Probably one of the Ravens division games. Odds are.
You all got eliminated. Didn't the three of you all get eliminated by Bengals Jets?
No,
I got eliminated by Bengals Jets.
I didn't bet that one.
I know I was one of the last ones, and then I got eliminated.
Yeah, I know Ace probably went with the Bengals earlier in the year. So he probably got saved from that. We were all waiting to see if this shit was for real with the Bengals for like a long time.
Well, I just went full on meme mode. You'll remember that I had Heineke over the Giants in week.
You did not deserve to get out of that week. I was like a double overtime thriller there. Squeezed out that week.
I was never worried.
Again,
never in doubt, huh?
Never in doubt. It's fun. Okay, let's get this thing rolling real quick here, and we'll talk with fourth. I'm gonna go with Q. Q, who's your number 4th cornerback room in the AFC North?
Oh, the Steelers. Yeah, it's Pittsburgh. Yeah, I think they lost their best corner in Joe Hayden last year. Even though Joe Hayden's not signed anywhere, so maybe he wasn't as good as I thought he was at the end of last year. Outside of that, you have some solid guys. Like, these aren't terrible corners. This isn't like the year the Browns were starting like Brian Booty Calhoun out there, like special teamers for lifers out there.
No bond out there. There's no bond out there.
Yeah, Terrell Bonds put in that work though in the USFL. He's on his way back, man. I was like, who is this stud out here? Terrell Bonds. Corner. Look, man, if he's in the XFL next year, I would want to get him in the 2nd or 3rd round of the XFL draft, but I wouldn't want him on my roster. Is Robert Jackson on anybody's team this year? I know he hops around to whoever has the war. I feel like he got cut from Pittsburgh earlier this year, right?
Who's that? Sorry.
Robert Jackson.
He's on Baltimore right now.
Oh, he's still on Baltimore?
Oh no.
Yeah,
No,
I
it's
just
not
saw. I just saw him at preseason. Did he get cut?
No,
He might have got. I think he got cut recently.
I was
by
looking up
somebody.
for whatever reason
Yeah.
doing the show. I was looking up
Seaman
preseason
or which-
numbers. I was looking up preseason numbers, and I thought I saw Robert Jackson was on the Ravens.
No, I don't remember. He's like a nightmare for me too. I don't want.
Oh yeah. Once Robert
Okay,
Jackson's out
he
there,
got
dog,
cut.
it's a wrap.
He got cut. And it's
Yeah,
his
we
last
had
year.
Robert Jackson 1-on-1 in the playoffs against Chase Claypool, and somehow came away with that with the victory. We should not.
Somehow. Yeah. Who
Yeah,
can know?
yeah. Thank God they turned the ball over 4 times. You know what I mean?
Who can
Shout
figure
out to
how
them.
Chase Claypool lost that battle? It's one
It
of
was
life's
when he
great
called him
mysteries.
on Instagram or TikTok the next day, he's a chicken or a duck in the bone or whatever.
That's because he was an outside corner at that spot. Him in the slot, though. I got a lot of nice things to say about Chase Claypool as a slot receiver.
Yeah. Pittsburgh's here just because I think it's probably a competition between them and Cincinnati, just because they're both kind of rooms without much star power in them. But Pittsburgh's, I would just give Pittsburgh the less of the benefit of the doubt than Cincinnati, because I saw that unit, play much better than I thought they were going to play last year. Now, Cincinnati certainly has some questions, right? Are we going to get Eli Apple from last year ever again? Like, is that one of those situations where a guy just shows up for 1 year and just like, ooh, what happened the next? Happens with corners a lot, right? Nnamdi Asomugha is like the biggest example of that, but this would be Nnamdi on a much smaller scale. There are some major questions about the Bengals, but they brought pretty much that entire room back. I mean, all the principal characters are back. Pittsburgh, they bring back everybody but Joe Hayden, and they're still hurting from the Mike Hilton loss, which is just incredible to me. And then your boy Pierre just did not turn out to be the monster that you thought he was going to be.
I mean, that's a low blow in this discussion. That's a low blow, but okay.
I mean, if your boy Pierre held up a little bit, I might feel
He's
better.
He's the fifth corner on this roster right now. Or why are we talking about the fifth corner on the roster?
I mean, look, you're gonna talk about the fifth corner on the Browns roster, right? Like, we're gonna have to talk about the fifth corner here. Our fifth corner is like Greedy Williams at this point. James Pierre.
I like both guys. Oh, by the way, I love 2 guys that I absolutely love.
Yeah, Tony. Look, if you need Tony to evaluate for your team, he will find a fifth corner for you. That is what we know.
I'm the king of finding the last corner on a roster.
It's okay. Perrion Winfrey ain't looking too good for me right now either. So that's why I have the Steelers there at 4. We'll see with the room. It's also not a super. Is it a young room? I mean, like they got like Justin Lane, but like
they're like
Lane's getting cut.
Right?
Lane's getting cut. No, you called.
They don't have any prospects that they're excited about that are super young. Well,
they have the best corner in the division, but we'll talk about that in a second.
Oh my god!
I can't wait to hear this.
Oh my god!
I can't wait to hear this. He said that in this division.
Mm-hmm. In this division, the Steelers have the best corner in
the best corner.
Yeah, they do.
You talking about like Minka playing
this
the slot?
Undeniable. It's undeniable. We'll get there.
Okay, this is a meme pick. See,
it's a meme. Yeah,
this is a meme pick. You just can't take everything seriously. All right,
anything, but
okay. Well, with that, I'll throw to me here as the fourth core. I mean, for me, the Steelers clear cut. For me, the easiest pick in this of the 4 was the Steelers. I'll if anything, I will disagree with Q a little bit here, and that means that for me, Cincy and Pittsburgh not close. Pittsburgh for me is the number 4th. Sutton, yeah, and Pierre. The Tony's Hall of Fame, Pierre. What was the shirt? What did the shirt have? By the way, that's
Pierre Peninsula. By the way, Pierre Peninsula's coming back, boys. I mean, he's having a great
Pierre Peninsula. Who came up with
the guy? Okay, can I give a backstory about how that shirt got created? Because
I need to hear this.
I started this meme on Locked On Steelers. Right, I do this every year. I did it with Doc. I did it with Mitch this year. I always pick a meme player to like joke about on Locked On Steelers, and I start a hype train about it. Well, this guy on Twitter like jumped on board immediately. He's like, yeah, I love this. James Pierre, they need a corner. He's great. And they went to this t-shirt company. I think it's DC4L something, custom tees or something, and said like, I want a James Pierre custom jersey or custom shirt. And this is what they do. They create custom shirts. So they designed it for the guy. So he said the guy sent me the design. Of course, I bought one myself. Of course, that's how it happened. So that Pierre Peninsula shirt was created by my stupid meme on Locked On Steelers. And yes, the rest is history.
Look, man, that tells you could just create hype no matter what. It don't take nothing these days to create some buzz. Because literally spoke it into existence. Like
the dude had like 20 reps total in the regular season and had the one pass breakup in the playoff game and I just rode that for all it was worth.
If y'all had AJ Green the third on your roster, I don't know what y'all would be doing right now.
AJ Green's numbers, I was looking at
because he has like an 85 PFF grade on like 200 snaps.
Just his numbers. I mean, just the coverage grade or the coverage numbers are.
Oh, y'all would have a feel.
I almost in the rough over there. I don't know why don't you have like a I don't know a word that starts with
because I'm no better than to do that shit because I've been hurt plenty of times. My small sample size. Last time I did that, it was for Terrell Pryor, and I learned my lesson. Oh, he's gonna be a great wide receiver. He figured it out. That next year, he was not good.
We learned that with Bengals fans learned that with Darius Phillips. He had that elite PFF.
That's
grade.
right. Yeah, Darius. See, we all done it. Don't act like you guys haven't done this before.
Oh, well, yeah, it happens, and it's gonna happen again. You know what I mean? As much as we want to be logical and experienced about this, we don't want to get excited about our team. That's the reason why we do this shit in the first place. And let somebody give me a reason to be excited. Like Perrion Winfrey is 2 TFLs in the preseason away from being like, hey, he's back. He's back, baby. He's back. He's back. Push him up. Yeah, you know what I mean?
But yeah, so the Pittsburgh, Q said something that's true. So I think most of their corners are like mid to late 20s. No, I can't wait for whoever Tony's gonna say here because he teed it up perfectly. But
CB1, undeniable.
no real guys. Son was the only one
no
got paid
idea.
for a little bit. Me neither. But yeah, I think the Steelers.
Oh my God!
I like what Joe Hayden did in last year and a couple years ago, but. Who's that stable guy? The Steelers really don't have that guy right now. For me, the Steelers are fourth undeniable. Before I go with you, Tony, let me go with some super chats we have here. Love the show. Shout out to you, Russ. Love the show. Yo, the truth. Ready for the season. Just the season.
Shiesty season. Boo.
That Twitter space was crazy anyway. JOK is better.
We need to do that like they do on Twitter, like how they do the young boys better on every hip hop post. We need to do JOK is better on every post.
No, we need to leave that one alone, I think. For a little bit. I think that discussion has played itself out. And we're just gonna have to revisit that.
Look, we can't even run from it no more. Every time one of those two players does something, we're getting messages in our DMs. I know how this goes.
Yeah,
I know how this goes. At this point, it ain't no point of running from it. What you gonna do? Run from Jaws? Like, man, you gotta just gotta come up with some counters. You know what I mean?
Yep. Noah Stone here says Bengals players being dirty, nothing new, like perfect. By the way, I saw that play. I don't
not
think
dirty. Come on, that play was not dirty. It was
everybody who has a team that runs any play action. So anybody other than like Tony has seen that play before, right? Because it's just a backside play. It is
Ravens
like
run it all the time. The Ravens,
Matt Canada might run it this year, but he definitely
I was just gonna say. I'm getting used to it.
Kenny Two Glove looks nice.
Ooh, Kenny.
Tom Brady is back and ready to dominate fourth MVP Super Bowl. Shout out to Noah Stone here.
Did he win Masked Singer though, Noah Stone? Do you know if he won? Did he win? I mean, that's what we really need to know.
Noah Stone, you got 12 tattooed on you somewhere.
Oh, you know he has.
Yeah, he got a 12 tattoo.
He got a TB12.
No, he got the 12. Like he's Tom. You know what I mean? Like it's his legacy. You know what I mean? We gonna get that man a 12 chain if he donate. If he 100 super chats away from getting a 12 chain. You know what I mean?
Part one, Cammy, thank you for your donation. I didn't see anything from you, but if you have any questions, please let us know. Rex,
I think I see it. It says Bengals are winning the Super Bowl this year. Thank you for that, bro. Appreciate that super chat.
Bengals winning the Super Bowl this year.
I mean, could you imagine even making it? Very unrealistic.
They could win the Super Bowl. They still be like.
He really didn't say that. So if he does say so,
that was an ace. Okay, Tony. It's just happy he doesn't have to watch Artie anymore. Okay, Tony. Tell me, who's this guy?
Who's CB1? Who is CB1?
Here. I want to know.
Well, last week we entered. There was a new entrant into the ring. You know, as I've said, I'm looking for new ways to evaluate talent. Ace brought up Sports Info Solutions and said, "Hey, let's look at their little their bubble chart or whatever it's called, sonar
chart.
depth. Yeah,
Yep.
the sonar chart.
Oh,
Do you know who they have as their number one corner in the AFC North?
God, he's about to say.
Not Marlon. It's not Denzel. It's not Awuzie. Although all three of those players are quality.
Is he?
No, it's my dog, Akilla Witherspoon,
Oh,
who
my
graded
God.
out in them at a 3.4, just narrowly beating out Awuzie and Marlon Humphrey at 3.3. So yeah, CB1 in the division. Now look, Akilla Witherspoon.
Wait, where are you ranking? Who are you ranking at 4 now?
Oh, I'm ranking the Steelers 4. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, Steelers coming in 4, even though they do have the best cornerback in the division, undeniably the best cornerback in the division. No, I think I think this is probably the Steelers' most underrated unit because I don't think this unit is as bad as everybody says it is. I just think when you think about how you want to build a cornerback room, everybody thinks about, okay, who's CB1, right? Do they have a CB1? Who can I put on your best receiver? But that's not really how the Steelers have played defense under Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin, the great thing about a Mike Tomlin defense is that he does a great job of kind of scheming their number one guy out of the picture. And they're just saying, like, look, if you got a second and third option that can beat us, cool, but your number one guy is not going to beat us. Now, obviously, there are certain teams he can't run that against. One of them is in this division, which hurt him. But you look at, Football Outsiders has this, their DVOA numbers break this down, right? How do you do covering number one wide receivers? The Steelers were the 5th best team in the league last year at defending number one receivers. Really wasn't a problem for them outside of a couple games, outside of obviously the Cincinnati game where they got beat up, that Chargers game, although Minkah didn't play in that game, but Mike Williams and Keenan Allen both went off in that one, right? Because it's harder when you have quality depth at wide receiver to roll coverage to one side. But you look at like Devontae Adams, Justin Jefferson, even guys like Darren Waller or Mark Andrews. These are not guys who went off for huge numbers against the Steelers because Tomlin does a very good job of kind of scheming those guys out of the system. And so, when I think about this cornerback room for the Steelers, I like it because it's kind of a corner room built in Mike Tomlin's image. It's all the guys that Mike Tomlin loves. These aren't height, weight, speed guys. These are guys who they're not like the fastest 40 times. They're just guys who are good football players. Cam Sutton is never going to win an award for, a Pro Bowl. He's never going to be on the top 100 list. He's just a solid dude. And he's a smart player that the Steelers love to move around. He started as a dime backer, then he moved to slot, and now he's an outside corner in base. Then he moves inside in nickel and dime. I think the most underrated signing the Steelers had this offseason was Levi Wallace, who, again, this is a guy, came out of Bama, ran a 4.65 40. I mean, this is just a guy who you would just think, well, he can't play. Instead, he's played 1,700 snaps for the past 5 years for Buffalo, and Buffalo had the best pass defense in the league. Now, again, I'm not saying Levi Wallace is a shutdown guy, but as the Steelers play defense, it's not kind of, they don't have guys travel. And then Akilla Witherspoon, we joke about it. I mean, Akilla Witherspoon over the last 6 games last year, if you look at these numbers, they are absurd what Akilla Witherspoon did over the last, when he came in for Hayden last year, when Hayden got hurt, so Akilla had to start. Akilla Witherspoon over 6 games had a completion percentage against of 48.5%. That's the best of anyone in the AFC North who played at least 200 snaps. He had 5 pass breakups in those 6 games. That's 1 less than Marlon Humphrey or Denzel Ward had in the entire year. He also had 3 interceptions, which led the division a year ago. Now, obviously, if he had done that over the course of a full season, I mean, we're talking about like he's Darrelle Revis. Right? I mean, 48% completion percentage against would have been the 3rd best number in the league last year. So we're talking about like a true shutdown guy. I don't know that a Witherspoon is going to be that guy, but I think what he did at the end of last season was really encouraging, and it's why he really, if we talk about CB1 for the Steelers, Akilla Witherspoon is going to be CB1 for the Steelers this year. And you'll have Cam start on the other side, and then in nickel, he'll go inside, and you have Levi there. So, yeah, I like this room. Again, it doesn't have a CB1. It's clearly the 4th best room in this division, but yeah, I think this room is exactly what kind of Mike Tomlin wants it to be. It's a solid group of players who they're not the best. They're never going to get the top end awards, but they're going to be a solid secondary unit.
Okay, 2 super chats real quick. Ready for Flacco revenge game? Hope for 4-0 versus the North. It's no saying. I thought you were a Ravens fan second. You can't say stuff like that.
No, he's strictly a Joe Flacco and Tom Brady fan. which I can understand if you want to appreciate greatness, but how can anybody with the taste for greatness go out here and stand for Joe Flacco? I don't understand that. Like, you know what I mean?
He falls on the yes side of, is Joe Flacco elite? Is Joe Flacco elite? He said, I guess
You
he's on the
can't
yes
you
side.
can't tell me you actually appreciate greatness and be like, yeah, Joe Flacco elite. That's not nah, come on. Even like he had 9 elite games in his career, which happened to be right at the right time. But
No, really 4. He really had 4 in a row.
I mean, I'll give him 9. He had some good regular season games that
He
year too.
did.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I'll give him 9. He was all right that year, but it was it. He was never that again. He was all right.
Didn't they sneak into the playoffs that year though? Like, when is it by the end of the year?
No. They got in at the back end.
We won the division, but it was at the end of the year, basically.
Yeah.
So
they like snuck in. I remember like it was like Ray Rice took like a 4th and 26 check down play and
oh
converted
yeah,
first
but
down.
that was like in week 12-ish, 13. But if we would have lost that game, we didn't.
Yeah, it'd been over. Yeah, I'm saying
4th and 20. You know, nothing's
and it was
worse.
like check down to Ray Rice. It was like,
Yeah.
Joe, what a great play by Joe Flacco.
Yeah, it was like 4th and
check down on 4th
27,
and
right?
26.
He
and
knew.
Ray Rice.
Tony, he anticipated.
yeah.
I was gonna give it the 26.
Right.
Anyway,
His
Q,
Dr.
Ain't
Strange,
nothing
like,
worse,
there's one way
Tony,
to convert
than
this.
when a rival team in your division is the feel good story. Like with the Bengals last year. Oh, it just sucks when the rival team is the feel good story, and then they're having that feel good year. Everybody's like, "Oh, I love this team," and you're like, "Man, they still the Bengals." Like, you gotta be the one dude hating, and now everybody hating on you because you hating. Like, it's not just Bengal fans mad at you; it's general fans mad at you. I think the Browns did y'all a favor making sure for a fact they won't be the feel good team no time soon. So, I haven't heard enough thanks for that, from the rest of the AFC North, that we have saved everybody from that, but keep taking us for granted.
Q, will you ever do business with Tony Khan or Khan?
If Tony Khan wants to do business with me, why would I say no? Yeah, Tony Khan. Yeah, I will work with you.
There you go, Tony. Joe only North QB to beat Tom Brady in playoffs, unlike Ben. And with that, Ace, who's your 4th? You're muted,
Oh,
Ace.
sorry. For me, it's going to be the Steelers here. A lot of question marks. Even though Akilo Weatherspoon did great out last year, James Pierre had more snaps in pass coverage than him. Greedy Williams did. He had the same number as Bengals fans remember. Literally only about 5 more than Vernon Hargraves, who was like our 4th or 5th corner. So even though Akilo Weatherspoon in a limited capacity did grade out well, he is a far cry from the 400 and the 500 snaps that usually starting corners get. Cam Sutton has 643. So we'll see how that goes. I don't think that they're going to be bad, right? I don't think that they're just going to get torched by a bunch of people, but I think Joe Hayden, the loss of a guy like that can trail number ones and has done it for so many years, that experience, that IQ, I think that that's going to be missed. Now, where that goes with the secondary, I'm not sure. Maybe if it's a scheme thing, like Tony said before, maybe it won't matter. Maybe you just put in different pieces there. But I think after you look at Witherspoon and you look at Sutton and some of the guys that they have over there, there's a lot of unknowns after that. So I think that's where they have issues, but I don't think that they're going to be a horrible secondary, because there are some people out there saying that they think that it's just going to be a disaster there. I think I've seen in Pittsburgh them rotate that room around and always appear to be solid. It seems like they never, outside of Joe Hayden, have like a corner one guy, and they still do solid. So I expect them to still do solid, but when I'm comparing them to the rest of the division, they're definitely number 4 for me.
Okay, and before we go to number 3, Tony, tell us about our sponsor.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
No.
Call me out.
Tom Brady would never be this unprepared,
Listen,
Tony.
I'm off the cut. Listen, our friends over at Manscaped, I could do these things off the cup. Football's back, baby. We're seeing Mahomes sling the beautiful balls all over the field, and your friends at Manscaped are here to help you sling your beautiful balls all season long. With Manscaped's state-of-the-art tech, we'll have your weapon looking more loaded than the AFC North. Football may be rough, but your ball care doesn't have to be with Manscaped. Join the 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping. But you got to use our promo code AFC North Talk. That's AFC North Talk, all one word. Meet the best value bundle for Manscaped's Pocket Rockets. the Platinum Package. At quarterback, the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, a wily vet who makes sure the unit is running smooth and scoring nonstop. With proprietary advanced skin-safe technology, the lawnmower limits mistakes and protects the ball. Plus, it's waterproof, so the weather conditions are no issue. At running back, the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer built to bust through all the right holes. A hairless nostril, it just helps keep a nose, or it helps to keep a nose for the end zone. On the offensive line, we have our unsung heroes, the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and the Crop Reviver Ball Toner. The Trent Williams and Corey Linsley of Sack Protection, standing strong to keep your boys fresh and clean through all 4 quarters. At wideout, the cleanest duo in the league, the Ultra Premium Body Wash and Ultra Premium 2-in-1 Shampoo and Conditioner. With their rugged scent, they attract both the ball and the ladies in the crowd. Plus, these two leave your skin and scalp feeling more hydrated. That means more plays on the field and less water breaks. At tight end, the product that makes your end look tight, Manscaped's anti-chafing boxer briefs, a dedicated jewel pouch to increase ball handling and cool, steady vibe thanks to their moisture-wicking fabric. On defense, is only one thing you need: the aluminum-free ultra-premium deodorant with refined cologne-quality fragrance. It keeps sweat and locker room scents from making any ground. Plus, it dries clear, so the opponent won't even know what hit him. And to top it all off, we'll throw in the best coach in the league, the Shed Travel Bag, as a free bonus. Built to hold the team together, this travel size bag has a fumble resistant zipper. This has got to be a Super Bowl winning roster, but don't take my word for it. Go on over to manscaped.com and get 20% off and free shipping. But again, you have to use our promo code AFC North Talk. That's AFC North Talk, all one word, at manscaped.com.
And like I said, Manscaped does hell of a products. Their products are top quality. They're awesome. I love it. I know people that recommend the products, they love it too. So yeah, definitely recommend Manscaped. So Q, going back to you. Who is número 3?
Everybody sitting down. Everybody gonna be okay. Everybody, all right. We're gonna be
Ravens.
It's gonna be the Bengals here at 3. We're gonna put the Bengals here at 3. Now, look, this is a solid room. I think though, margin of error here is a little bit wide. Given that if Eli Apple's not good, or I mean, like whatever he was last year, right? Like whatever level of play that you think Eli Apple gave, if he's not that same guy, there can be some problems with this room because again, there's not a ton of experience. They have some like free agents here, well, rookies here that they're gonna have, that they're gonna try to run in here. And look, they gave Cheeto and Eli over 1,000 snaps each last year. I mean, like they played them a ton last year. Mike Hilton as well. I think he had over about 1,000 snaps. So, I mean, does that include playoffs or is that just regular season? Let me double check.
Depends on how you have your filter going.
Yeah, I just got it on the roster. So it's got to be playoffs because nobody gets, about 1,000 and 11,000 snaps is about a full season. So, yeah, they played them a ton last year. So that tells me like they don't love their depth there at that position. It's probably why they went young there in the draft. I don't know how fast these guys are going to pan out. What's the situation with Trey Flowers?
Trey Flowers is a guy that they picked up, and he actually was really good for the Bengals. They kind of bring him in to kind of cover tight ends, and he did a really good job in that role. Like he shut down Travis Kelce. He put him on Mark Andrews last year. He slowed him down. He's kind of a special. They bring him in for a special role.
Wait, was he guy that was in his sweats in the Super Bowl?
No. That was that was Hargraves. That was Hargraves.
Hargraves. I don't see him on this roster, so
he's out of there. He was out of there after that.
Yeah, he was out of there the second he jumped on the field. Yeah. Oh man, he was like a first round pick, or he was like a
top 10 pick.
Yeah.
They bust out quick sometimes, man. But yeah, I mean, like I don't think they're going to be in trouble. I think Cheeto's good enough. I would wish. I mean, this is the sentiment I have for the entire Bengals defense. I wish they had one star above them all to make me feel a lot better about this defense. Like they're a defense that doesn't have a brand name right now, which is the issue, right? When you look at Pittsburgh and you project them to be good, people go, okay, yeah, cool, TJ Watt. You talk about Baltimore, if you project their defense to be good, they go, okay, yeah, Marlon's going to be back, and so is Marcus Peters. Even though we don't know what Marcus Peters is going to be at this point in his career, but you still have those guys with Cincy. It's like you think they're going to be good, and then you kind of have to say it's a team effort.
That guy?
Who?
Hendrickson? I would put Hendrickson there.
I don't think everybody thinks about Trey Hendrickson like that. I think within a certain community of people, Trey Henderson is seen like that, but he's still in that underrated category, right? Like if Max Crosby hasn't broken out of that yet, then he hasn't. You know what I mean? And Max is a little bit better than Trey, or at least they're about to. I don't know. I don't even want to go there. You know what I mean?
Don't do it.
I don't even want to go there.
Here it comes. The train is derailing.
How do you want to go there? But there's so many places I could go with that. But I just don't think they have. Maybe Jesse Bates was on the verge of being that guy where people really looked at him as like one of the 20 best players in the league or something like that. But then he had that slip up last year. It's just hard. But they're a really good unit. Like they're a really strong, solid unit. It's just, they're like a team. What was it? They're like I don't want to disrespect y'all. I mean, no disrespect. I mean this in a positive way. They're like the 2016 Atlanta Hawks, where they just had a lot of really good players and they won a lot of games on that side. They were a really good offense. They just didn't have anybody that's like, okay, it's third and 6. We need you to make a play. Right? Like there's nobody like that on that defense, which I could worry about, but it was still a really good defense. And probably the most consistent defense, I would say, in the North last year. So there's still like number 3 here is not a bad spot. Remember, man, some of these positions are just loaded in this division.
Yeah.
So 3 is not a bad spot. 3 might be top 10 still. Well, now I don't know about all that, but 3 might be top half of the league. And I think the Bengals are top half of the league. Secondary, we'll see. The one caveat is, I just don't believe in this Eli Apple thing. Like I'm not the biggest fan of him. I think that this has a verge to fall off a cliff, but I could be completely wrong about that. I mean, it's not like PFF is saying he's been anybody that he hasn't been, right? Kind of like a borderline average DB.
Yeah.
Okay, we have one super chat here. Says Q, I know we got Perry on from the Texans trade, but do you ever wish the Browns took George Pickens?
Nope, not yet. I'm not there yet. You got Kate York out of that too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, I like it. You're coming around.
No, I'm not coming around. I just got to say what I got to say right now.
You've come around. That's it. Like,
you know what I mean? Look. I'll put this out there. I predict this. I'm going to be more patient with Kate York than Browns fans will be this year. I think Browns fans by week 13 are going to be talking about we wasted a 4th round pick. I will be more patient than because I don't have high expectations. Browns fans wanted Kate York to kick a 65-yard field goal last weekend. 65. They think he can do it. That's the fucking record. Oh, that's the record, dog. That's
66, but it's close.
Why would you have him attempt that? That is ridiculous. If he misses it, what's the benefit? If he misses it, then people are gonna be like, "Oh, he sucks. He's not." I know how this goes with kickers, dog. Everybody falls in love too fast, and then they think he's capable of doing something like that because he does it in a warm up, and then he doesn't do it, and everybody acts heartbroken. I know how this works.
The AFC North has good kickers, right? The AFC North, they had Justin Tucker, but think about oh my God, Boswell
might be the best division for kickers. If
because you're gonna stop it. Stop.
It is the best division for kickers. It actually is.
Tony, what's your number 3?
Boswell.
Tony, who's your number 3?
Hey, York. I'm just saying.
Okay. I really 3 and 2 were hard. 3 and 2 were really hard. See, I'm not with Q. I don't think for me the Steelers were an easy 4.
Easy 4, yeah.
But 3 and 2 were close. It was almost like I had to just decide like which fan base do I want to piss off? Because no matter who you put at 3, that fan base is going to feel slighted, for sure. Even though I think these are both really good units.
How dare you not have Cheeto Uzie over Denzel Ward?
We had enough fun with Bengals fans on that spaces. So today I'm going to put the Browns at number 3. At the cornerback spot. Okay, here's how I came up with this. Here's how I came up with this. What are the question marks with each unit? I have a question. The biggest question I have, obviously, I have 2 questions with the Bengals. One, who is Eli Apple exactly? Right? Are we getting Are we getting even decent? If we get even decent Eli Apple, we're good. We're good. Because you guys know me. I love Mike Hilton. I love Mike Hilton. My least favorite
shirt.
My least favorite play of last season was that. Yeah, I might have to get a shirt. Actually, I need to get a boombox and wait outside his house and bring him back to Pittsburgh. The play I loved the most, actually hated the most from Mike Hilton a year ago, was the interception he had in that Tennessee game.
Yep.
When he tipped the ball up to himself and intercepted it.
You lost money there?
That is a perfect. That is the Mike Hilton experience. I talked about this last year. You know, I just hope that they used Mike as just a traditional cover nickel. You know what I mean? Just go out there and put him in coverage. Don't ever use him on around the line of scrimmage. You know what I mean? Keep him on off coverage. Great. Because that's what he does the least bad. I mean, obviously, you know, Ace knows this from watching him for a year, man. Like the guy around the line of scrimmage is a monster. So I have no problems there. The next question I had is like, okay, Chidobe Awuzie was the best cornerback in the division last year by the numbers, right? The question is, what was that? Was that a 1 year, like, remember the year Awuzie was the best corner in the division? Or was that like a breakout year in this defense? You know, he is now a number one guy. And then I go to, the problem I go over to Cleveland. What are my questions there? Well, question number one is like Greg Newsome going into his second year, right? So he had a good rookie year, sophomore slump. Is he going to make a jump? Is he going to fall again? Could go either way there. And then Q, what exactly are they doing at nickel? Is it Martin Emerson? Because I know
it's Greg Newsome. They're going to put Greg Newsome in the nickel sometime.
Okay, so it is Newsome.
So they're rotating in. Yeah, they're rotating him in and out. And then, you know, the other boundary position is going to go down between AJ Green or Greedy Williams, and it looks like it's probably AJ Green.
Okay, I thought it might be Emerson. I mean, I thought he might have won that spot after the amazing pick six he had in that first preseason game.
No. Martin Emerson's barely going to play this year.
Okay, but that's the other question I have, right? Which is like, okay, in those spots, you know, whether it's Herb Miller, whether it's Greedy, whoever it is on that.
Not Herb Miller.
Why not Herb Miller?
Huh? No, Herb Miller's been terrible. He has been absolutely terrible. What?
I wouldn't mind it. But you see what I'm saying? Like, look, there's no question marks here about Denzel Ward. I think we all know who Denzel is. Denzel's a great player. But it just came down to, I probably have a little more questions when it comes to who's going to play this outside corner position. And then what is Greg Newsome in year two? So it was close, but I have Cleveland 3.
Okay. I'll go with Ace.
God damn, Tony, you just kind of swayed me there. I didn't know. So I was thinking that Newsome and Emerson were the guys outside of Denzel Ward. I didn't know that.
I will put this caveat in here. Emerson's not going to play, but it's not because he hasn't looked good in camp, right? This isn't like Emerson looks bad kind of deal. Yeah, he's looked good.
I thought he had the interception. He had the pick six. And so I thought it was a him thing. I didn't know that this AJ Green thing was like a legit, like they're ready to put him out there, move Greg Newsome to the inside. So before that, I was probably going to go with the Bengals here because I felt like with Cheeto, he did play as the best corner in the division last year, the 84 coverage grade, one of the best corners in the NFL. I think it was top 3 if you put the 20% in there. And it wasn't like he was going against bums. This was against Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson, a lot of the guys that were at the top of the league. I think the only guy that I remember having a game on him was actually the guy that was at Tennessee that just went to the Eagles. AJ Brown got the best of him for sure. But he was still locking up today in the practice against the Rams with Cooper Kupp. He had some plays against him. I think with Cheeto, his game has gone to the next level because he's had to kind of practice against the Jamar Chases and T. Higgins of the world and practice. And I just think it's a better scheme fit for him than it was in Dallas. So I expect Cheeto to be there. I do have questions about Eli Apple. But when you go to the Mike Hilton factor, those are 3 guys that I do feel more comfortable about. I even like Flowers as well. But I do think personally, Denzel Ward is the best corner. If I had to bet money, he's the best corner in the division for sure. Greg Newsome, I felt like they had a dynamic duo with those two over there. Being that they're going to move him to the inside, I'm not sure how that's going to work. I kind of like them on the outside as far as that. With that third position, I'm not sure, like, if it is AJ Green, I'm seeing that this guy only played 100 snaps. That's less than Ahkello Witherspoon played. That's less than Vernon Hargraves played for the Bengals. So I've seen this before with Darius Phillips, where you have a guy that has, you know, a small sample size. It looks good, but is that what he's going to be doing when he has to play, you know, close to 700 pass coverage snaps. So I have to see more in terms of that from AJ Green. That's a question mark for me. But I do feel good about Denzel Ward, obviously. Do feel good about I'm kind of, I don't know, because some guys can play nickel and then some guys kind of struggle with it. So it's hard to say about Newsome. I feel better with Newsome on the outside, but with that nickel corner, I don't know what they're doing there. I know that you guys had Troy Hill. Was Troy Hill not good last year? I kind of was.
All right. Look, the thing with Greg, and I think it's getting overblown, is he will play slot, but like, when is he playing slot is the important question.
Well, didn't you say that they play the 4-2-5 a lot?
Yeah, they play 4-2-5.
Wouldn't he be playing it all the time?
Yeah, he would be playing it all the time, but like, it's not like he's going on like somebody's third receiver. The reason they have him in the slot is because a lot of teams, like the Bengals, do this all the time, where they'll either put Jamar on that X island by himself, or they'll rotate him over to slot. So this way, they're thinking when they play a team like the Bengals, instead of having to like hold on for dear life when MJ Stewart is on, Jamar Chase.
I know what this is about. They're scared of Chase Claypool. They're scared that Chase Claypool.
Well, this is think about what the Steelers are doing, right? Teams are trying to get more athletic and more skilled at slot. So it's just them trying to be prepared for that move. I don't think his snap count goes down. And again, whenever they're not in base 4-2-5, they probably have him on the boundary again. But it's just kind of we want more of a skilled player here.
Is he going to kind of be like a Marlon Humphrey kind of guy in the slot, do you think? Like, have you seen him?
It would be like putting a number one. It would be like putting a 1 or 2 corner in the slot. So he's not going to be like Mike Hilton is, where Mike Hilton's a true slot and he has slot responsibilities. The Browns are probably just going to use JOK and some of their smaller, more like Jacob Phillips and those smaller athletic linebackers for some of those responsibilities, or their sub linebackers. So I'm talking about like strong safety. We're talking about Ronnie Harrison probably doing that stuff, or Grant Delpit. So it's a new role, but I don't think this role, it's kind of similar to what they have Jalen Ramsey doing out there in LA, where he kind of just moves around.
Because Marlon played a ton of slot over the past couple of years.
Marlon
injuries happen. So it is becoming more common as teams get more and more scared of Chase Claypool.
Yeah, but before that, I was thinking that it was going to be, and maybe it still is, like you said, depending on the package. But I was thinking Emerson was going to be that guy as the third corner, especially after you guys got rid of Troy Hill and went and drafted Emerson. I saw him do the pick six. I'm like, oh, he's got to be the third guy.
Martin Emerson's future is boundary side, cover 6 on the 4 side, right? Like, he's going to be on the quarter side of cover 6 for his whole career. He is excellent within that 20, like from 10 to 20 or 10 to 30 yards. Oh yeah, he got that. Ooh boy, if he has a deep cross, he cooked. If you can cut and turn on him with no help, he ain't got the hips. He big corner. I wouldn't be surprised if he actually ends up playing slot a little bit against like Chase Claypool, because again, you're not worried about the discrepancy in the hips.
Flowers on like a tight end or something like that. Like I can see that.
I see him probably subbing in a lot in the end zone, in the red zone packages. So like, when you have some bigger bodies out there and they're worried about getting posted up and you don't have all that space for him to get lost in, then you're similarly how they use Greedy Williams, where they just don't want to let Greedy play a lot of zone.
So wait, Ace, did you have the Bengals 3 or the Browns 3?
Yeah,
I actually originally I was gonna have the Bengals 3, but I've got the Browns now, because if I'm going off of last year, I almost feel like the Browns are number 1 because they gave the Migos like the biggest competition in the division. But I just like when you introduced the unknown of him moving into the slot, that wasn't what I thought the plan was. So that kind of threw me off.
They don't have an Ahkello Witherspoon over there. They got a lot of question marks.
I'll give you my 3. I'll give you my 3 real quick here. And it is, for me, it's the Bengals. And the reason why it's the Bengals, I think we basically summarize it well. Cheeto, I actually don't think Cheeto is going to take a massive step back. If he takes a step back, it's going to be minimal, because he had such a great season that sometimes it's hard to replicate the great season. I love his trend when he was with the Cowboys. You can see that he was going to be a good player. He was not a star, but you can see how and then he came to the Bengals. So it was like he fit well in that scheme. He fit well with the team. He played great. Like y'all, my biggest question is effing Eli Apple. right? Eli Apple was a sneeze away from being out of the league, and he happened to fall to the Bengals, and he played well, right? He played well for a normal corner. He played outstanding for Eli Apple standards, right? So that is huge, right? Because if Eli Apple goes back to the Eli Apple of the Giants and the Saints, then you have a hole in whatever side he's gonna be in, right? Then you have Mike Hill. Mike Hill is like Tony and said, this good guy to have there on a blitz. They can, he knows how to read the quarterback side. He knows how to anticipate those. Decent on coverage. But the biggest question, no doubt, I don't think it's Cheetah. I think Cheetah will be fine. Is can Eli Apple be 80% at least of what he was last year? If he can be 80% of what he was last year, I think this room is good. And then after that, I think, in my opinion, both the Ravens and the Browns, we'll talk about those two teams, have more depth. And that's why I ranked them. But I don't think Bengals should be worried. Well, should be concerned about Eli Apple, right? That's the concern, in my opinion. If Eli Apple comes and be what he was last year, then your corner room is solid. It's good. There's no slouch. It's a good corner. And I think with Cheeto, I have no questions. I think the dude is a star. Okay, so we have a super chat here. Real quick. Acolon, maybe. How do you guys feel about your defense ability to adapt to different scenarios and schemes? I mean, both based on your coach scheme and the players. I will start with saying this about the Ravens. The Ravens have a new coach, the coordinator. We'll see how he is. Wink Martindale, I liked him a lot, but his adjustments in defense was, ain't working. I'm gonna blitz you more.
That's right. He's the Kylo Ren. He's the Kylo Ren gift. More.
Yeah, I will blitz you more. So McDonald, will see. It's gonna be interesting with him. So I cannot really answer that questions right now. I think one thing that the Ravens do have right now is in the secondary in general, they added so much depth. So I'm very interested to see how they're gonna play with all this depth. If I was a betting man, they're definitely gonna blitz less this year. So, but yeah, so right now I cannot completely answer that because I'm not sure how Mike is gonna utilize these players. I'm very curious because the preseason is whatever, right? The preseason, they're trying different things. I saw Dafe Owe dropping into the middle linebackers, but now he drops in coverage, but they were doing some crazy stuff. I think they're just trying to see if a guy can do this or that, right? I want to see in the regular season how he adapts because that is a question that I have for the Ravens defense. How about you guys?
Yeah, I think for me, I could say that the Bengals probably have one of the most versatile defenses in the NFL. Lou Anarumo, the things that he does, he has something for it seems like, personnel for every single kind of offense, whether it's a run-heavy offense where he could use DJ Reader and the big guys up front, whether it's going to be a passing offense like Pat Mahomes, where you got to drop 6 or 7 guys into the secondary and just sit there. And one of the things that he did, I think, in this draft that was interesting is Dax Hill. And today at practice against the Rams, they were using Dax Hill, especially with Jesse Bates being back. He wasn't in practice, but they were moving Dax all over the place. And you're going to see Dax get moved all over the place. He's going to be in the nickel. He's going to be outside. He's going to give you 3 safety looks. Like, there isn't really a defense that we can't play. For the most part, he usually runs nickel, but I've seen him jump in the quarters. Like, with the versatility that this team has, the defense just makes it so that they can adapt to any kind of offense and any kind of scheme that you put out there. Then you talk about Akeem Davis-Gaither, a guy who's a linebacker, but also a former safety. He's got versatility. The biggest thing that people don't talk about, I know a lot of Bengals fans talk about Joseph Osai and the pass rushing ability. But one thing that Lou also does is he drops some of his edge rushers in coverage. And a lot of people don't know Joseph Osai used to actually be an inside linebacker the year before he was drafted. So before his last season, he actually was a linebacker. So sometimes he'll do things like drop those guys in the coverage as well. So I think with what we have based off of Lou's system now, it's definitely a lot of people came away from the draft saying that versatility is just the key there.
I'm excited. I'm definitely excited to see what how they use Dax Hill now that Bates is back in the building. I mean, Hill's been too good to keep on the bench. So yeah, I'm excited
You
to see how
can't
they
keep him on the bench.
how
There's
they
no way.
move. Yeah, how they move him around. The Steelers are going to have we'll talk about this in the safety show, but I think they're going to do a similar thing with Edmonds now. Now they have DeMonte Casey, who's had a really good camp and a really good preseason. And you're already seeing looks where they're kind of moving Edmonds down to a linebacker-ish role. So that'll be interesting to watch. For the Steelers, I mean, as far as, their ability to adapt, I mean, this is how you end up with a room like this that is also a top 10 pass defense unit, because Mike Tomlin is so good at scheming things. I think this is what this Steeler defense does maybe better than, I mean, obviously the rest of the passer better than anyone, but right behind that, I think Mike Tomlin.
You guys got Flores. A lot of people keep forgetting that Flores is the DC now.
Exactly. No.
Well, linebacker coach.
Terrell Austin is the DC.
Okay.
Your friend Terrell Austin.
Oh,
Bengals fans only have nice things to say about Terrell Austin every time I talk. Yeah,
I've been in that position before.
But no, I think this is what this is when I talked about, right. Go look up at that Packers game, right. What Devontae Adams was able to do in that game, or guys like
go back to his first stint in Detroit to find something good, right?
That's right. He's great in Detroit. I mean, he's great, but he's been a secondary coach for like 3 or 4 years now. So, and it's at the end of the day, how much of this is it going to be his defense versus what it has been in years past, which is Tomlin's defense. Yeah. So I think I have the worry I have with this defense is when you have a room like this, especially with a corner room, right? When you just go up against that superior talent, right? Who did they really struggle against last year? The Chargers with a loaded, they had a great quarterback and a loaded wide receiver room. The Bengals, great quarterback, loaded wide receiver room. Chiefs, same thing, right? Those are rooms that the Steelers just are never going to match up well against, given the construction of the room. But otherwise, everyone else, I like my chances.
Cute.
Versatility. I mean, Bengals are pretty versatile. I'd say the Browns have probably the most potential to be versatile out of everybody because they have so many like cross position players that they could throw out there in hybrids. But we haven't seen it in practice as much, right? Like the Browns have been very vulnerable to some weaknesses for me to put them in that position. So I would probably go with Cincinnati just because I've seen them be more versatile than what we expected from a Lou Anarumu system, which was like for the longest, I'm going to just go cover one under and just see what happens the whole game, right? Like he just knew one play, one under. He ran one under in that 2-minute drill versus Baker Mayfield in 2020. It blew my mind that he just decided to stick in that. And they were just running like, okay, we're just going to run these outs. Everything else is all there. So yeah, that's been a pleasant surprise. Again, the Bengals have a lot of solid players at every level of that defense, so it's easier for them to be more versatile. Where you look at a team like Cleveland, who has a lot of versatile players, but have some deficiencies too, right? Defensive tackle is an area where like I don't know how big the depth is there, right? So if the Browns needed to go to a heavier front, are they really capable of it? I don't think so. Last year the Bengals were tremendous at that because they had like 3 or 4 bodies they could throw out there against the run if they really needed to. And even when one went down in Larry Ogunjobi, they were able to adapt and replace. So, you got to give it to the team that showed it the most last year, and that's the Bengals.
Okay, well, so with number 2 here, Q, I'm going to you again. Who do you have in number 2?
Oh, I got the Ravens here. Okay, hopefully my cat doesn't turn off the stream for me, right? Because she is happy to see me. But yeah, I have the Ravens here. Let me just move my keyboard off this thing. There you go. All right, you do whatever you want. All right, but I got the Ravens here. Why do I have the Ravens here? Well, the Ravens have Marlon Humphrey, who's normally really good. He was not good last year. He was up and down, right? Wasn't the hump that we expect. I expect that to be just a same thing as like, Lamar's numbers were down last year kind of deal. I know he was hurt, so it's not a one-to-one thing, but he did get cooked versus Jamar Chase like pretty badly. Who's a bad matchup for him?
And Deontay.
Right? Oh yeah, Deontay Johnson. He. I mean, for a dude who normally like Marlon on them big matchups, he usually shuts guys down. Had some concerning performances against some big time wide receivers, but it happens. Sometimes it's not your year. Darius Washington, I thought was pretty good last year. I don't know what y'all think. I thought Darius was cool. I think people give him a lot of shit. I like Darius. I think he's all right, right? I mean, this is a guy, he was a number 3 corner at Alabama, right? He was behind Trayvon Diggs and Minkah Fitzpatrick, and who else was down there? They had somebody actually good. The guy's son. Patrick Surtain. Yeah, they had Patrick, probably the highest drafted player out of all of them, right? So he came from a loaded defense out there at Alabama. I like his potential. Is he Alabama or is he Washington? Oh no, Ardarius Washington. I'm thinking about Ardarius Stewart.
Yeah. Okay. I think you were confusing players, but
No. What's his name? Y'all had him last year. Not
Anthony Averett is who you were talking about.
Yeah, Avery. Yeah, y'all don't have him.
He's out. He left.
Yeah.
He gone.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, never mind. Just throw out everything I said about Ardarius Washington. I thought it was Anthony.
Men in Black that last 3 minutes.
Yeah. Forget that one.
Because we do have a Washington, but
yeah. I was thinking of the wrong Averett A name at DB there. They had Kyle Fuller.
They did get Kyle Fuller, yes. Kyle Fuller, that's why I'm shocked you're putting them here at 2.
Nah, I don't like Kyle Fuller that much. But
okay, all right. See, this is what I don't like when we do. I mean, okay, we're setting ourselves up for just to be sad for 16 games.
No, hold on, wait. I don't like Kyle Fuller more than I like Greg Newsome. And I don't like, like Marcus Peters obviously in there, but I think Marcus Peters has some real questions coming off an injury at 30 years old. I think it's fair.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, yes. No, I agree with you on this.
Yeah. So like,
there's question marks, but they're okay. Well, I'll let you finish, then I'll talk about that.
I don't think they're unquestionably the best DB room for this year if we're projecting.
I do, but
I mean, obviously, you put the Browns at 3, so we're going to have a difference of opinion here. But yeah, so I think this is a really good room. I think it's probably one of the best in the NFL. I think the Browns room will end up being better by the end of the year, just because I think the Browns have a little bit more depth, and I like the Browns' top 2 players about as much, if not more, than I like the Ravens top at here, right? I like the youth there that you get with the Greg Newsome versus the youth that you don't get there with I don't want to say aging. He's 29.6, but he's getting up there in age, coming off of a
0.6.
PFF does it by decimal. I love the by decimal. No, you got to do it by decimal.
No, you got to do it by decimal because
you can say a guy's 29, but he might turn 30 tomorrow.
He might turn 30 by September. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
He's 29.6, so he's not the youngest guy in the world, and he's coming off of a knee injury. So is he back off PUP yet?
Yeah.
He practiced.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll see what Marcus Peters is, and then Marcus Peters, like, if there's a corner who there's an argument for his game's not going to age well, the second athletically he drops off a little bit, it's got to be for Marcus Peters, right? Like, he's Trayvon Diggs, the original, right? But
let me ask you this, Q. Are you taking the safety room into account at all with these rankings? Because
no, I thought we were doing DBs, right?
But I'm saying, like, just when we're checking out how good this room is going to be. It's hard to
it's hard to separate it. I like the Browns safety room just as much as I like the Ravens safety room.
Okay, I'm just saying, like, they clearly upgraded, right? The Ravens upgraded.
Yeah, they got some nice pieces.
The corners and it's like a trickle down thing. Yeah.
It's gonna be a good room. Yeah, absolutely, no doubt. Probably gonna be one of the best secondaries in football.
Yeah,
I just think.
However,
I just think there's a better secondary, in this division. But we'll get to that.
Yep.
Okay. Tony, who is your number 2?
Yeah, my number 2 is the Bengals. Chidobe Awuzie had an amazing stat last year that I had to look at, like, how many times has this actually been done before? He had less yards per reception than average depth of target, right? Meaning that on average, they would target him 12 yards down the field, and the average reception that they made was only 9 yards down the field. That's absurd. And Awuzie, think about Awuzie last year, and why I do feel comfortable with him is this isn't a situation where he played really well early in the year. He kind of earned quarterbacks' respect, and they stopped going his way. Right. He had 90 targets last year. I mean, they just kept trying Awuzie all year. Like, look, I don't believe it yet. And Awuzie just continued game after game to be, what was last year the best corner in this division. I think he led the entire division in pass breakups. He had a 57% completion percentage, and as I said, less yards per catch than average depth of target. Absurd. They're the huge and then obviously everybody knows my love for Mike Hilton. He's one of my favorite players. The huge question mark here is, what do they get? What are they going to get out of Eli Apple? But even for me, I think they're going to get really good play out of Awuzie. I think they're going to get really good play out of Mike. So even if they just, like we've all been saying, even if Eli Apple's just a guy, he's just a dude. He doesn't have to be anything special. And this room is completely fine. So, it was close with the Browns, but I have the Bengals too.
Okay, Ace, who you have number 2?
Yep, I've got the Bengals here as well. And I think for a number of reasons outside of Awuzie, who I literally had to put up a tweet last year to show people how amazing he was playing when I compared him to Jalen Ramsey. And I said, player A has allowed this many yards, this many touchdowns. This is the completion percentage and all of this. This is how many interceptions he has. And this is how many touchdowns were caught on him. And player B has this many. And everybody thought that they couldn't believe that it was Cheeto. That I was comparing to Jalen Ramsey, who had better numbers than Jalen Ramsey last year. And that's not to say that he's just better than him. That's just the level that he was playing at last year against some good competition. But I think you talk about Mike Hilton. He's a guy that, coverage isn't really his strong suit. Like, he's not Dre Kirkpatrick at it, but he's a guy that you can blitz. He's a guy that you can do some other things with. He's extremely physical. He can call turnovers out. That Ryan Tannehill play, he kind of called that before it happened. He saw it early in the game, and he was like, if they do that again, I'm taking it. So he's a very smart player. Quentin Flowers, I think, is the most underrated guy out of this group. What he did against tight ends last year was insane. Against some of the top tight ends, they were able to take him, which was a guy that pretty much flamed out in Seattle. He's a bigger corner, 6'3", and they really carved out a role for him against tight ends, and he was extremely effective in that role. Eli Apple, I hate that he just gets pounded on, because what the Bengals really do with Eli Apple, what Lou did, when you look at the numbers, I believe on SIS, they don't have this available for free, but at one point when I tried the trial, I saw this. They used him mostly in zone. So they're not putting Eli Apple on an island with anyone. They're giving him a zone and telling him, hey, just protect this area. So that's the way that they essentially hid Eli Apple last year, was just having him play a zone for the most part. Now, he's still been solid this season. He's actually been very good in practice against Jamar Chase. But a lot of people forget the Bengals also drafted Cam Taylor-Britt, who's hurt right now. But he's a guy that kind of serves as that Eli Apple insurance per se out of Nebraska, and they're expecting some things out of him. Now, I will say there was a lot of hype with CTB coming in. I think I've heard from reports that he hasn't had the best camp so far. He bounced back right before he was injured, but he's got a core injury. He is expected to have surgery. I assume that he will be back, but he's missing valuable reps. And I feel like as a rookie corner, you have to get used to speed. You have to get used to all of that. So I think it's a tall order to say that he's going to play a factor right now. But I think if all of those guys are solid, I think you have a room that's at least 4 or 5 deep that have different roles and bring different things to the table. And on top of that, you talk about Dax Hill, right? Like with Jesse Bates back, guess who's going to be playing a lot of nickel corner? Dax Hill. So do you include Dax Hill in that conversation too? It's kind of hard to say, but I would imagine that that's how they're going to use Dax Hill, because that's what they've been doing already with him in the nickel, him on the outside. So I wouldn't be surprised if you also see Dax Hill at corner. But that's why I've got the Bengals at number 2 here.
Quick question before I do my number 2. I just have a question about Dax Hill. Wouldn't they try him as the second safety?
No, they've got Von Bell. They've got Von Bell and Jesse Bates.
Yeah,
We do have a 3 safety look, but they have been using Dax at nickel. They're moving him like all over, like nickel and even on the outside. They think that he can play all 3 positions, and they've been trying to kind of prep for when Jesse Bates comes back.
Is Minka the worst safety in this division? Hit subscribe.
I've been thinking of shut up. I've been thinking about this. Okay, but one thing I've been thinking about, and maybe this is silly because it kind of gives away the coverage if you do it this way, but wouldn't Dax Hill and Jesse Bates in a 2 high look just be like, okay,
that
well,
would be crazy. That's
what
what a lot of people want to see.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's why I said, like,
yeah, but I guess
it's the second safety.
Yeah, but if you don't trust one guy to come down,
Von Bell outplayed Jesse Bates last year. Like, if you're comparing the top 2 safeties, like during the regular season, Jesse Bates had a down year. During the playoffs, he looked amazing, and everybody that just saw the Bengals in the playoffs, they're like, "Oh, Jesse Bates." But really, Von Bell outplayed him last year between those 2.
Does Von play any sub linebacker in the nickel?
He does play some sub linebacker.
Okay, so you could rotate in Dax in those situations and have
Dax
and Jesse on the field at the same time.
Okay, I mean,
or have Von be the dime backer, you know what I mean, in a dime set, and just be super athletic.
Yeah.
So we can talk about that next week. For me,
Jacoby Brissett's gonna have a rough A rough one, huh? It's like this is
Yeah,
what the
the
division
Bengals aren't going to be easy to beat this year.
For
you know,
me, number
it'll be
2
tough.
here is the Browns. And I like the Browns. I like what the Browns offer. Newsom it surprised me because I thought Newsom was gonna be good, but he exceeded my expectations last year. I thought he was well prepared because usually rookies, and then this year I'm taking into account because we decided to bring more of that the rookies. Last year I think I put the Browns up, but not as up because I thought Newsom's a rookie, right? I mean I do it for the Ravens as well. So that being said, Newsom again surprised me. He was really good in when he played over there in the outside. Moving him to inside, it could be good, it could be bad, right? I don't know. I will say this: Marlon Humphrey, in my opinion, is a AA plus outside corner. He is a solid B in the inside, right? It is different. I think he is best suited on the outside. The problem is, once Sebanyan every year got injured, the next best thing is to put Marlon there because if you put anybody else, was getting cooked. So even though his play, in my opinion, is not as good, that's why they put him there. So we'll see with Newsom. He might be, all pro for all we know. He might struggle a little bit. We'll see with time. Denzel Ward, Denzel Ward is one of the top corners in the league. He's been great. Obviously, he got the big paycheck this year. And then we have on the other outside, Greedy Williams. Greedy Williams, I thought he was going to be better when they drafted him. At this point, he is a guy that is fighting for snaps. It looks like AJ Green is beating him up, right? So when Greedy Williams got drafted, AJ Green was it the same draft?
It's hard to tell between that battle with AJ Green and Greedy, just because Greedy doesn't play in the preseason because they're making sure that shoulder nerve injury he had in 2020 doesn't pop up again. So he doesn't get to play in the preseason games.
Okay.
So we don't know if that's because he's secured at the spot or it's because of the shoulder, right? So it's hard to gauge who's winning that battle. It's still either or, I think, between the two of them. They both had good camps.
But AJ Green and him was in the same draft class, right?
AJ Green was undrafted last year. Greedy Williams was 2019. Yeah.
Okay. But I think when the Browns drafted Greedy Williams back there in 19, they would have thought he was going to be their corner on the other side with Denzel. Obviously they went to draft Newsom. I think, look, if Newsom is their best alternative in the slot, I have no problem. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think it might take a step back while he learns the position, but if he might be completely fine at the end of the year. That other side, AJ Green might be playing great right now and on camp. We'll see, right? Sometimes when the real game comes, things sometimes not follow the same thread. But overall, this is a good DB room, right? If AJ Green and you have Greedy Williams playing similar and they can be that solid third and fourth corner, that's great as a third and fourth corner, right? Newsom looks to be a Pro Bowler in the near future, and we'll know what Denzel Ward is. I think they're number 2, but they still have a great room. I do like them a lot. We have a couple super chats here before we go to number 1. I can't see putting the Browns at third for CB for me when I believe that our third and fourth CB, Williams and AJ Green, could be better than the Bengals' second and Eli Apple. And
could be, right? But again, just this is I did this all for me. It all came down to like probability wise, right? Yes, Eli Apple could be very bad, and that means I would be wrong in these rankings.
Well, hold on, wait. There is a question. Would you rather have Greedy Williams or would you rather have Eli Apple?
What Eli Apple?
You can't ask me that. You can't ask me that. Come on, I'm a Greedy Williams guy. What are we talking about?
But
they're pretty much the same player though. Athletic, high potential,
right?
Just inconsistent with what they do.
But last year Eli was
fairly
consistent.
That's the only thing.
Yeah.
Greedy hasn't put it together. Now, to be fair, Eli is in year.
Both had
Eli is way older though, so this could be the year that Greedy does put it together. So
they've both been around 60, 65 graded DBs their entire career. Like both of them. That's what I'm saying. So it's yeah.
And Tyler Beck, Greg Newsom is what Greedy was supposed to be. Yeah, I think that's what I was trying to say and then they
Yeah,
drafted
Greg
this.
was, yeah.
That's what they expected, because if
John
Greedy
Norton.
would have been that guy, then obviously Newsom wouldn't be in the Browns, right? Because why?
Yeah.
But anyway, Q, you're number one.
By the way, I'm wondering, like, who's going to be the team when they make the inevitable Josh Allen is like the greatest quarterback we've ever seen documentary? Who's going to be the team that takes the biggest, like, who's going to be laughed at more for not taking him, right? Because there's always one team that just gets away with it, right? The Donovan McNabb thing, I think the Bengals got made fun of not taking Donovan McNabb because they took infinitely worse, what was his name? Achilles Smith.
Mhm.
And then the Browns ended up taking Tim Couch, who was not good, but like not as bad, and we got away with it. I'm wondering, like, are the Jets going to be the one where they're going to be like, wow, you really just didn't take him? Because he went before Josh Rosen, right? So it can't be the Cardinals that they do it.
I don't know that you're gonna make fun of anyone, because quite honestly, there were a lot of people in the draft process that thought he shouldn't have been a first round pick, period.
His thing was like either he's the first pick of the draft or he's not. Like, yeah, so it was like,
he's either the first, he's either your QB1 or he's your QB6.
yeah, it wasn't like passing on Andrew Luck. I ain't trying to make it sound like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, somebody usually gets made a donkey for passing up on a guy that good. But
The Jets.
It's the Browns.
nah, Baker was too good to be that, right? Like, he wasn't great or anything, but it was like, yeah. You've seen people do worse with them. Like, it's not like they drafted Jamarcus Russell. They took Josh Rosen at number one. Oh yeah, this would be us. But it wasn't like Baker was that terrible. I ain't gonna dig his grave that deep. But let's go to number one here. Clearly, I have the Cleveland Browns, and clearly, I am going to be accused of being extra biased because y'all did me no favor.
100%.
Ranking
Yeah,
in that
100%.
three. I feel like this is a troll job done by y'all, but you know what? I'm just going to accept it. And if I end up being right by the end of the year, you won't hear the end of it. So this is going to be where I plant the proverbial flag. Yeah, I think the Browns have the best corner room, especially if you're just talking strict corners here. Denzel Ward is good as any number one corner in the NFL. Just got his money. We'll see if he's still the same caliber guy. And we know what his issues are against those bigger body wide receivers, right? But now that Chase Claypool's in the slot, we don't really got to worry about them things no more, right? So there is that with Denzel Ward. Greg Newsom, I think sneakily might be just as good as Denzel Ward this year, because he has taken a leap in camp. Like the leap he has taken, he was really good last year, but I think he's taken a significant leap. If you look at like the improvement in his feet, his technique, his ability to that's the one thing he has. He doesn't have great long speed. He has all right speed. He's like a 4.4 guy, but his recovery speed is just insane. His ability to just recover and play back off of it. And now that he's going to be put in a position where he's near the ball more, I think he's going to make a lot more plays. I think that kind of factored into everybody's ranking the position change for him. I look at it similarly to how I look at JOK technically having a responsibility change to where, yeah, he was really good in the role they asked him to be in this year, but now they're going to ask him to be closer to the football more often so he can make more plays on it. I think you're going to see that recovery speed and his feet and his ability to just work routes, right? That's what he is the best at. He's just good at working small, quick, little jumpy routes. He just loves working those. So he's going to be getting a ton of those when he's working that slot corner position. And then when you talk about the boundary side, you can throw AJ Green out there and just see what you have in there, right? In that 86.2 Pro Football Focus grade, like 176 snaps, which is not nothing. 116 coverage snaps. It's not nothing, but it's not anything to say this is who he is, right? Like, if that's the case, he's the best corner on the team. So it is something there. You want to see what you have there. But you have the confidence in knowing, hey, if AJ Green does not work out and he's awful and this is a Darius Phillips situation, you can throw Greedy Williams out there. You know who Greedy Williams is on the boundary, and you'll be fine. Push come to shove, if you really want to, you can put Greg Newsom back in there and figure it out and put AJ Green in the slot, which those two are going to be rotating in those position sets anyways, depending on what the matchup is. And then also you have Martin Emerson, who you feel like probably by the end of the year can take a lot of boundary snaps if you want him to. I think this team, I think AJ Green is going to be, from all reports from everybody, when you talk to his teammates in camp, they feel like he's a starting level corner. When you talk about Greedy, he's about the same level where he's not like a great corner, but they feel like, he could be a starting level corner on a lot of teams. We're talking about, the fourth or fifth guy on the depth chart right now. And then Martin Emerson, who's shown some tremendous flashes. He can't work over top or anything, and he's not like Longs. He kind of reminds me of Antonio Cromartie. Remember his big ass next to Darrell Revis? Where it's like, look, if you keep him in the cloud, he's fine. But once you take him off of it and he has to replace Darrell on the other side to be the one guy on the island, he's not going to be good. But I think he has a future there on the cloud side. So as long as you have a safety over top, I think you could do stuff with him. But yeah, I think this is a really solid room 1 through 6. I think there's just really good corners. This is the type of the room that can take a hit, right? My issue with the Bengals is like, hey, what happens if Eli Apple falters a little bit? Does that switch up the whole dynamic in that secondary?
Cam Taylor-Britt?
Is he a rookie?
Yeah, he's a rookie.
Okay, see what I mean? So like,
a lot of people thought he was going to basically start over Eli, but it hasn't gone that way so far.
Yeah. So it's like, even then it's like a rookie kind of a situation where you're taking a bit more of a gamble than you are going to what Greedy is at this point, right? He's a good but not great corner. AJ Green, you hope he's like a great corner, but you're probably expecting he's a decent corner at the end of the day. And somebody who can live with good safety help over top, which the Browns have enough safeties to help. But yeah, I feel strongly about this room. I think there are a bunch of guys in here who are going to end up surprising a lot of people. And when you have this kind of depth and then the Browns play as many DBs as they do on the field, I think it's really going to show by the end of the year, hey, this was the best DB room. I think it has the potential to be one of the best in football. I'm not going to be as bold and to say that, but I will say it is one of the better, like if you just look at it, talent to talent, it's one of the deeper ones in all of football. Like, this is kind of like what the Chargers had in 2018 when they were able to run that Lamar defense with like 7 DPs on the field. This is a similar thing that the Browns can do.
Before we keep going, I just wanted to give a special shout out to our Patreon, Adam Holland. Thank you, man. Thank you for supporting. Thank you to all the other patrons also that support us. And if you want to support us a little bit more, be a patron. We'll do extra content. We're gonna keep doing extra content to make sure you follow us over there on Patreon. Okay, so we have a couple super chats here. People forget after Baker and Allen's rookie year, it looked like the Browns made the right choice.
Yeah, that's why I don't think anyone's getting dunked on for the Allen. It took 3 years for him to actually get good.
I remember I was talking shit to Bills fans about, you took Josh Allen, because I was not a Josh Allen fan. I thought, Baker's gonna be so. That's like one of them horse races where a horse has it for like the first quarter, and then a Presbyterian just comes shooting through, and you're like, oh, this is.
Mine wasn't that bad. I said Lamar, but it might be Josh Allen right now.
Let me tell you, in that 2018 QB race, it looks like this: Lamar, Josh Allen right up here, neck and neck. Baker over here, and a good God, you got Sam Darnold.
You know which one I got right though?
The one Josh Rosen is.
The one that I did get right was Josh Rosen. I was like, Josh Rosen is not him and Sam Darnold. I was like, he's not going to be as good as you guys think that they are. I'm like, they're not going to be.
Dog, you can be in camp watching Josh Rosen, and whichever team gets Josh Rosen next, every time he goes to a team, they're like, well, he was a top 10 pick, man. He must have something that jumps off the chart. And then you watch him in camp, and you're like, what the? How did he go? He has you literally go there and you're like, Josh Dobbs has wowed me more physically, just his physical attributes, than Josh Rosen. Like they have the same amount of arm strength. Like you watch Josh Rosen, that ball doesn't carry. It's not super accurate. It's not a tight spiral. His feet are horribly slow. His release is tremendously slow. Like he looks awful. He looks like Carson Strong.
There were 10 mistakes made in front of him. There were 10 mistakes made in front of him.
That's one of those where I'm like, how did the evaluators just not
do you remember when they said, when there was like a big debate about whether or not they should take Kyler because they just took Josh Rosen the year before?
Yes, they knew.
They knew. Oh, they knew right away.
It took me 2 practices.
I will say this. Josh Josh Allen has actually kind of ruined quarterback play evaluation for everyone, because if your rookie quarterback goes out and sucks for 2 years, the whole fan base goes, well, look, Josh. I mean, look, it took Josh Allen 3 years. It took Josh Allen.
Except for it's not a dude who's 6'6",
Everybody's using the Josh
250 pounds,
Right.
who can run 640. You know what I mean?
Outlier case. Usually, it does not take very long for a rookie quarterback to get good, but every bad quarterback can live on the idea of like, maybe he's Josh Allen. Maybe it just takes him Josh Allen.
Here's the thing. Josh Rosen right now is so much worse than rookie year Josh. Like rookie year Josh Allen. Josh Rosen is.
I saw the comparison already. It was Daniel Jones next to Josh Allen. And I remember when we did this with Andy Dalton, they would put Peyton Manning next to Andy Dalton, and they would compare like their first 4 years.
Oh, yeah, Baker Mayfield next to Peyton Manning. You know, they threw a lot of interceptions. Then it turned into Drew Brees. It's going to be, look, the needle is always moving, man. Whenever you draft the quarterback in the top 10, I can't wait till Pittsburgh start pulling these out, man. I can't wait.
Well, Kenny's on a certain trajectory right now. He's literally the greatest quarterback that has ever lived through 2 games.
We'll know this is. Hey, do you want to know when we know this is over? When they bring out the Peyton Manning slide, when we see that get reposted,
we got a different one. I don't even
We're
know.
like, hey, I know Kenny's turning it over a lot, but so did Peyton Manning. You know, Peyton wasn't great right away. You know, it took him a couple years. Hey, Ben wasn't great right away, right? They're gonna do the Ben slide.
Ben was great right away. Actually, Ben
won a Super Bowl his first year, but individually,
they went to the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, individually, he was not good.
Second year.
Until like year
15
4 or 5.
15-1.
Game
winners. He had a game winner. The comeback against.
All right, let's stop giving them out.
Let me reel you guys in. And Tony, who is your number 1?
I don't have a number 1. I ranked 2 through 3, and then I left 1 off the chart.
All
right, 1 is Baltimore. And I thought I might be one of the only ones to do it. Which it seems like, how many of us put? There's 3 of us. Okay,
you're the majority today.
So it's the majority. Yeah, I thought I might be the only one, or it might be me and one other. I just look at this room. You know, you talk about question marks, right? We talk about the starting 3. I have 0 question marks about the starting 3 when it comes to talent. I have questions, obviously, about health. Okay, because last we saw Marlon Humphrey, he got juked out of the NFL by Deontay on a game-winning touchdown. You're welcome, Raven fans. Last we saw Marcus Peters was 2 years ago. And Kyle Fuller, here's the thing about Kyle Fuller. We can all convince ourselves that, last year he got benched in Denver. They wanted to trade him at the deadline. It didn't work out. And he was a bad player in Denver a year ago. Fine. But this is a guy that 4 years ago was an all-pro in Chicago. Okay. And if we think that he's going to go to Baltimore and just continue to be a really bad player, I mean, we're kidding ourselves. Right? This is we've seen this a million times. Baltimore gets a veteran player who we're all convinced he's past his prime. No, he can't be any good at Baltimore.
Calais Campbell,
Anquan
Bolden.
Exactly. We've seen this 10,000 times. Why are we trying to convince
Dumerville? Remember that one?
Yeah. Why are we trying to convince ourselves that this is not a Calais Campbell? It's the most recent example. Why are we? I mean, this is going to happen. Kyle Phillips is going to be a great corner for them alongside Marlon.
Wait.
Alongside.
I do present a counter piece of evidence.
Go ahead,
Earl
please.
Thomas.
No, Earl was actually good though.
He
wasn't okay. I will grant you this. He wasn't he took his game back to another level. He was just kind of.
He wasn't ET, and then by the end of that year or the start of the next, he was ET. Come find home. He don't know where that. He ain't back. You know what I mean? So I would submit evidence.
They just settled the whole dispute this summer.
And Ozzie made the Calais Campbell move, so maybe they're not the same Ravens. You know what I mean?
Listen, I pray because I would, every once in a while I like to go back and just turn on some Ravens highlights so I can watch how bad their secondary. I mean, they had one of the worst secondaries in the league last year. I think it was the 28th pass defense in the league.
Out here wishing
they were awful. I mean, they were so bad.
Hughes boy had 20 snaps last year.
Robert Jackson.
Yeah, Robert Jackson.
200 snaps. He qualified.
I forgot how many he had. I felt like he was there all the time.
It's great. Loved it. But this year, I mean, this is going to be the best corner unit in the league again. And yes, there is a question mark about whether or not they can stay healthy. Fine. By the way, are they really moving Brandon Stevens back to corner? I saw that on their depth chart that Stevens is a corner again.
Yep, Stevens.
So they're just And you know what the thing about Harbaugh is? That will probably work for them because they had him at safety, like, oh, failed experiment at safety. Let's move him back to corner, and then he's going to go out there and be a brilliant depth piece.
Last year, it's just a parenthesis because I don't want to interrupt you too much, but he played at safety, but he did a lot of like man-to-man coverage, and he was way better at man-to-man coverage than he was in space and safety.
Awesome. Yeah, looking forward to it. Because again, there's another guy who I loved watching be terrible as a third-round pick, and I already know he's going to be great. I have no numbers to back this up.
Love him.
I just inherently know, as like being a Raven or being a Steeler fan cheering against the Ravens, that I know how that's going to turn out. So yeah, Ravens were an easy one for me. They'll be back. They're back. They are back.
Ace.
Yeah, man. Here we are, Baltimore Ravens fans. You thought that I was going to have you fourth, right? No, it's the Ravens here. I mean, just like Tony said, you look at those first three. I mean, when I saw the Kyle Fuller move, I just was like, oh, my God, another great Ravens move that they typically get, which is a steal on a veteran. It was just like Justin Houston last year all over again. They're bringing in Kyle Fuller to the fold. But here's the thing. Like, I know we as Bengals fans, we kind of poked the whole like Marlon Humphrey, Jamar Chase thing. I think that Marlon Humphrey's going to bounce back because of that. Like, look, everywhere he's gone, people have talked to him about the Jamar Chase thing. He's getting interviewed about it. So I know that he's going to come back next season with a chip on his shoulder. And you never want to go against guys that have a chip on their shoulder. Marcus Peters, as Tony said, I do have questions about him. But at the end of the day, it's Marcus Peters. Yeah. Like in a contract year, his last season. So I expect him to bounce back as well. I also like some of the guys that they have at the corner position behind those guys. They spent a couple of those fourth-round picks on them. I'm sure that one of those guys will pan out. But when you just look at the top of it, I feel like they upgraded in comparison to what they had last year before they lost Peters. And who's the little guy you guys had that always got hurt?
Tavon Young.
They finally moved on from Tavon Young. So I think now they'll get healthier at that position, and I think that they'll definitely stand at the top at the AFC when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I think one of the things the Ravens did this year was they said, okay, last year we had a lot of injuries. Let's double down on depth, right? Which I appreciate. Also frustrated me because I wanted more depth on the outside linebacker position. But here we are. I think the corner room is very loaded for the Ravens. Marlon, Peter, Kyler Fuller. Cool. I think Stevens can be a starter on the outside, right? I think Stevens won't be a starter this year because of Kyler Fuller and Marcus Peters, right? He probably will be the next year's starter on the outside when one of those two will leave, or maybe both. Then they drafted another guy that I like a lot, Armour Davis from Bama. The problem that Armour Davis has is he is super talented. When he's on the field, he is super talented. When he's on the field, he had problems staying healthy in Alabama. I think the Ravens took him as a flyer because back then they already had all this depth. They said, like, okay, if this dude can stay healthy, it's not going to be for this year. It's going to be for the next year. Demarion Williams, or as we know him in Baltimore, Pepe Williams. I love this dude. He's uber aggressive. I mean, he's a smaller guy, so he's definitely a nickel corner, right? Aggressive guy. He knows where the football is. He had almost an interception and then an interception in the following preseason game. He's been playing great. I think, and I'm hoping also, that he can take the nickel position. Not this year. He was a fourth-round pick, but by next year. And then Marlon can just stay outside and be outside, right? Another guy that people Q started talking about it, but I knew he wasn't talking about the right guy. Darius Washington as another guy. He was a safety. And then this might annoy Tony, but he was a safety, right? And I like him. He was an undrafted safety last year. And I liked him as an undrafted safety coming out of TCU. The Ravens used him at nickel during the preseason. Oh, my God, he looked fantastic. He made the team. And then he was one of the other guys that got injured. I think he probably makes the team. The problem is at what point you're going to start cutting corners, right? I think right now, the Ravens have too many corners, meaning they probably don't know who to cut because all these guys are great and they can make the team. I'm excited about the secondary. I think that there's depth. I'm hoping Marcus Peters comes and he's the Marcus Peters of 2 years ago. All indication is he's looking good. He's moving well. Um, he hasn't done 11 and 11 drills as of yet. He came out of the pup, I think, last week. So I think also, by the way, the Ravens are taking a super conservative approach to the preseason and to practice. So I don't remember a year that the Ravens played no starters basically for the first 2 preseason games. I just don't. And this year they've been like, not Lamar yet. He ain't playing. Mark Andrews, he's not playing. Bateman, he's not playing. Most of the O line, he ain't playing, right? So yeah, I think the Ravens had the biggest step. I think they had the better secondary. I think they should bounce back from last year. Okay, we have a couple super chats here. Ray Rex says Josh Rosen was so bad in the last preseason game. I'd rather the Browns have made the switch to an all Wildcat QB second half. It would have at least been fun to watch.
Should have just let Dobbs play the whole game.
Yeah, why not? I mean, when we play Arizona was letting McSorley.
Yeah, revenge game. I mean, that was a McSorley revenge game. So
okay, he played there for like 3 quarters. Played 3 quarters. Kyle Fuller, by the way, great interception that game. Ace, to be fair, people keep saying that Baker has a chip in his shoulder, and it hasn't really worked out well for him in the NFL.
I mean, to be fair, like let's just be real. Like Baker Mayfield, I slandered him only in the aspect of saying that I didn't feel like he was a top 10 quarterback, right? Baker Mayfield was a solid quarterback, right? He still was better than Sam Darnold. He still was better than Josh Rosen. But, he's just not that guy that can take you to the next level. I had the same complaints about Andy Dalton, like not a bad quarterback, but just not the guy when you show up against a Deshaun Watson, a Joe Burrow, a Lamar Jackson, a Josh Allen. You can't count on that guy
Kenny Pickett
to do it. So that's the only thing that I'll say.
He had to throw it. He hasn't
thrown a bad ball yet. I mean, he's through 2 preseason games. He's been elite. You can't argue that.
Baker has had a chip on his shoulder since like college, dog. Like
the Baker chip on his shoulder thing gets decided week 1. Week 1 is when Baker gets to be chip on his shoulder guy, or the chip on
Baker
his shoulder
will ball out week 1, and then he will revert to old Baker after that. Like
that's it. He has week 1 to figure to do this thing.
I'm telling you. We're looking at this from like a comic book movie standpoint, but I mean, come on.
Was that plant the flag quote real, or was that fake?
No, that's that fake account. The Kevin
okay,
account.
I was about to say, dog.
But no.
By the way,
here's the thing with Baker. Here's the thing. I'll remind.
Gonna plant that flag at PBS, and I'm like, I know Baker did not say he was gonna plant that flag.
No, look, here's the thing with Baker, though. Seriously. He's gonna. This first game has been presented as a golden opportunity, and narratively it is. But like, think about what he's going up against. He's gonna be in a new offense with a new coach in a job that he just won 2 days ago, up against a defense that's already good by itself, but also knows you probably better than your coach in your system knows you right now. And I just don't see that as a great situation for him. Right? Not a great offensive line.
We're 0-2 against Andy Dalton, dog. We're 0-2.
I'm just saying. Look, it could happen.
Hilarious. Joe Flacco and Baker Mayfield in the same week. Wouldn't it be hilarious?
Joe Flacco.
Look, the NFL is full of all those games. Davis Mills versus Deshaun Watson. They got Russ versus the Seahawks in week 1. Yeah. So, I mean, the NFL is going to get his money worth. But I'm just saying, man, we're putting a lot of stock in Baker Mayfield's anger to make up for a lot of things that aren't going in his favor.
Bengals or Panthers -1.5 week 1. We'll see.
We'll see, man. I will see. We'll see what Baker. We'll see.
I will say this: Browns. I think Q was the one.
All right,
Q. Q said that the Browns needed to win like 5 or 6 games. One of those 5 or 6 games is that Panthers game, right? You can if you're a Browns. You're like, okay, this is a W. And if it's not a W, you go out and you start looking.
I'm not going to lie, dog. I said before the trade happened, I was like, if Baker Mayfield gets traded to the Panthers are winning week 1, dog. This is the reason why. Like, a lot of people forget how good.
How many yards do you think Baker has?
So the Browns defense is really good. I love the Browns defense. I think it's a top 10 defense. The Panthers defense, I think, is pretty damn good as well. Like, and then they've got McCaffrey back with Baker. I feel like Baker's a better quarterback in comparison to Brissett. Like, it's gonna be I don't know, bro. And then the fact that the Cleveland Browns haven't won a home opener in 10 years?
It's in Carolina.
I'm just saying. And it's in Carolina. It's at home for Baker in a whole new. I'm just saying, bro. I think it's possible that the Panthers come out of there with a win.
So certainly. I mean, again, the Panthers are the betting favorite, right? I mean, they are the favorite.
So wait, what I'm hearing is you guys are gonna put him in the survivor pool.
See, I don't want to do this.
God.
Can I have 2 accounts? Can I have a meme?
I wouldn't do that.
Can I have a Tony meme
wouldn't
account and
have
a
a
real
problem
pick?
doing it.
Because I'll do that. Like, if you just want me to pick meme games every week and see how far I can make it that way.
I don't bet it. I mean, as a Bengals fan, because the first game was the Hugh Jackson one, where he came over and talked fast to Hugh Jackson for going to the Bengals, even though the guy was unemployed. The second one was the OBJ thing. It wasn't even Bengals related. It was like the OBJ release happened. Everyone was blaming him and all of that. And then he just comes out and just murders us with one shoulder. Like, I'm not doing this. I'm not betting against Baker Mayfield, bro.
So, okay, you're not betting against, but are you betting in favor?
He wants to know if you're going to put him in the survivor pool.
Oh, am I going to pick Carolina for the survivor?
Week 1, baby.
I might. It just depends. I mean, maybe I might see the Lions again and pick whoever. That was the strategy. You guys didn't catch on to it? Who are the Lions playing this week? Huh? That's what my strategy was for survival.
I'm worried about the Lions this year. They're going to bite some kneecaps.
We'll see. I have to look at it first, Sonny, but I do feel confident in that. I definitely will be putting that on a parlay somewhere.
Ravens over Jets is a good week 1 survivor game.
I'm
honestly Bengals over Steelers. You know, I don't want to be a Steeler hater here, right? I would love for the Steelers to pull off that upset, but that would be a massive freaking upset. The Steelers have not even been close with the Bengals.
I'm looking at the Broncos though.
Over the Seahawks.
Who's the worst team in the NFL right now? Like the worst team.
Texans.
I keep thinking Texans.
Seahawks are there close.
It might be the Seahawks,
Jets.
bro. It might be the Seahawks.
The Jets are better than those.
Jets actually have a pretty good roster.
Yeah,
I just don't like the
quarterback. We got Jets fans in chat. I'm trying to rile them up.
But yeah, I think Seattle.
I think Seattle's the worst team. I think Seattle might be.
Yeah.
Falcons, low key, one of the worst teams.
Yeah.
Do we really believe in this Mariota hype?
Yeah.
Washington. Chase Young.
Yeah, Washington for sure.
Wait,
like,
Washington
that's a disaster waiting to happen with Wentz. That is a disaster waiting to happen.
Yeah,
but I still feel like they're better than the Bears. Might be there, bro.
You know who's way underrated in the AFC. They're not going to make any noise because the AFC is too loaded. But I was unbelievably impressed with what I saw from. It was like two takeaways from the Jaguars Steelers preseason game. Number one, Kenny Pickett is the greatest quarterback to ever live. But right behind him is Trevor Lawrence. Trevor had a great game. Made some throws in that game. Made a throw over the corner, like kind of just above Cam Sutton's hands into the receiver.
Yeah.
Incredible. I mean, he made some.
Trevor Lawrence isn't bad. That was a lot of people forget that the Bengals barely escaped that primetime game against the Jaguars.
I remember.
For some reason, like they were killing us with the read option, and then they just stopped running it. I was like, all right, so. But yeah, I think Trevor Lawrence definitely for sure.
Here's another like, could they, I don't know if they're the worst team in football, but could they finish with like a bottom 5, bottom 10 record? How about the Saints?
Yeah, I'm not buying it.
Defense is solid.
The defense is probably too good, right?
Yeah, and
the defense is really good. Jameis, I don't believe in Jameis, and I feel like people are criminally underrating like not having Sean Payton. Like Sean Payton's just a guy or something. Like where did we get off to where Sean Payton was like not an elite coach? I just don't get it.
I think they're gonna be 6 or 7 wins.
Also, could we see the floor falling out for Kirk Cousins and them being a bad team? I think their over-under is like 8.5. You see that
because the Lions still like it's not. I think
the Lions are gonna suck, bro. I'm sorry.
They're gonna be better, but they're not gonna be good.
I don't care about Hard Knocks.
Scrappy Lions.
And then the Bears are not gonna be great, right? And I feel like Green Bay is gonna take a step back, right? So
forgot about that meme.
You're gonna be biting a lot of ankles this year.
Okay, so we have a couple of super chats here. With this, we can close. I hope the Panthers have Baker thrown the ball 35 plus times.
Not
I
gonna
see
happen.
how
Not
the
with Christian
game
McCaffrey.
goes when he does that, and it doesn't go well. Also, I believe that Baker is more talented than Brissett, but I will take it, Kobe, because I have more faith that he
Yeah,
won't
I can see
turn
that.
over the
That's
ball.
Baker's thing is he's a gunslinger. He's gonna take those chances.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Either,
sir. Oh,
either
hey,
works out or it either goes horribly wrong.
Olin. He's the poker guy. We're starting the game. Olin was like, dude, what? Olin bluffing. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. You never know if we do a space again. Also, go check
We're gonna take a break for a bit.
and sign up for the fantasy league. It's all free, and you will get a prize for the winner. Thank you for watching, y'all. We'll see you next time.